Okay, so the first week we look into the principle of entrepreneurship, certain characteristics of a successful entrepreneur and entrepreneurship ventures. Look at life cycle stages of entrepreneurial ventures, right? Certain principles of entrepreneurship. Then the last session we look into how to convert ideas into a commercial venture, right? So this week we'll be looking at how can you organize and finance a new venture. So I'm going to focus more on organizing a new venture since we had quite a detailed discussion on financing of new venture in the first week lecture. Okay, so these are the learning outcomes that we I said for this week. Okay, for this session, so you should be able to is through the venture life cycle. Okay, basically in this session discussion, we'll be looking at proprietorship, partnership, corporation, limited liability company, and different form of organizations. So at the end of the session, you should be able to understand all these kinds of different format of new ventures that can be organized. And also, we'll be looking at benefits, risks, and basic tax aspects of various organization forms. As we plan to start a business, we need to understand the taxations that we are subjected to, right, when we run a business. And also, when you start with a new idea, it got to be patented, and certain business trademarks, secrets, copyrights are there that should be protected. So we'll be also looking at those things, and then also towards the end, we'll be having a bit revision what we have taught. I have taught you in the first session, the different kind of seed financing available for you to start up a business. Okay, so these are the learning objectives or learning outcomes that we will cover in these sessions. Okay, now the forms of organizations. I'm sure that this topic was covered or has been covered in some other subjects. But again, we'll quickly go through that, because when you start to convert an idea into a viable commercial business ventures, then we have to understand what kind of organization I'm going to be fitting. Okay, so depending on how bigger organization I need to make my idea commerciable. Okay, there are various kind of organization forms are available. Number one is sole proprietorship. Number two, partnership. And then we have corporations, but again, corporations can be divided into three different categories. C corporations or C Corp, or S corporation, you call it subchapter S, and limited liability corporation or LLCs. Okay, so we'll be looking at all this in detail so that when we have an idea, a new idea, and then we like to screen and we make it a commercial one, viable one, profitable one, a venture, that we like to start, then we need to understand different form of organization that we like to start. Okay, so let's look at proprietorship. Proprietorship basically a small kind of business activity which is owned by an individual. Okay, so whatever it is, financing, management, leading the organization, as well as the liabilities entrusted to one individual, that is proprietorship. Okay, so in a proprietorship, basically you have unlimited liability because it's all your personal obligation. Okay, all personal obligation, because you are the only owner of the business venture that you're going to start. So that's basically what we call proprietorship. So when you say proprietorship, we have to keep in mind is one person who is going to come out with the idea, who is going to make it commercial, and then who is going to organize the business organization. He is going to run the operation, to lead the organization, and he is going to take all the liabilities that incur during running the business in the ventures. Okay. The second form of organization is called partnership. When you have an idea, and that idea is such a good idea, requires a lot of capital, seed money, which one person is unable to finance, or possibly one person doesn't want to take all the liabilities involved in a business. So we'd like to segregate it. Okay, so he'd like to share the seed financing needed as well as the liabilities of the organization. So risk is being shared among few people. So the idea of partnership basically this starts more than 1%, and it may go up to like 30%. Okay. So a business venture that is owned by two or more individuals are jointly and personally liable for the venture's liabilities. So partners may divide responsibilities. Certain partners in a case may contribute more finance and less involved in organization running. Some partners may get heavily involved in running the operation and contributing lower finance. So it all depends on the understanding among the partners in a business. Okay. So whatever happened in an organization, everything is shared by the partners. So you have joint liability here. Okay. In case of sole proprietorship, one person is responsible to bear all the risks. Okay. But here he takes all the profit and he has to definitely take all the responsibilities, right? The liabilities. But here the partnership, if the profits are being shared, and equally the risks are also shared, the liabilities are also shared. Okay. Now, it could be even joint and several liability, right? So you may have, it does allow subsets of partners to be object of legal action related to the partnership. When you are applying for a business entity and registering an organization, definitely you are bound to certain rules and regulations. The legal framework is already there that you are bound to follow that. Okay. And to limited partnership, whereby you have limits of limited partner liabilities in a partnership to the amount of the equal, or the equality of capital contribution to the partnership. I give you a simple example. Say, for example, you would like to start a furniture showroom, say, for example, in Penang. If you want to open up in Georgetown, possibly at the beginning, the startup capital needed would be about 100,000 to start, about 100,000. So now, say, for example, somebody who contributes more, say he contributes 50,000 ringgit, and other person contributes 30,000, and the third person contributes 20,000. That makes it 100,000. So you have three partners and you can start. So here you have partnership is limited, right? So you have like, you are not contributing, subset or joint or several liabilities, like, because not everybody contributing equal amount of money. And then when it comes to running of organizations, also there could be division. Someone may contribute more, someone could be less. It all depends on the understanding among the partners, how the organization is going to run and how profits are going to be shared. So the profit and the liabilities could be equally shared based on the amount that you have contributed to the business. All right. The third one, even bigger. When you have an idea and then the idea is such a big venture, even partnership form of organization may not be able to launch that venture and continue running the organization. In that case, you may start up as a legal entity, we call it corporation. Okay, so here your personal assets of the owners, shareholders, from the assets of the business. So your personal ownership is separated from the ownership of the assets of an organization. So once you contribute to the business, then that money becomes the corporation money, no more yours. And that money is being used to finance the assets and operation of the business. So your personal finance is your personal and the business is business, two totally different entities you have. Okay, so this corporation. So you're buying in the form of possibly a share. You buy a few hundred shares, a few dozens of shares of a company, become the shareholder. So once you bought the share and given the money to the company, that money belongs to the organization. When assets are bought, say for example a car or a machine, all belongs to the company, no more yours. The company the whole company owned by the shareholders, but when the company buys certain assets, all of them become the ownership of the organization. Okay, so here we have separation between personal assets and the organization assets. Okay, here you have limited liability. As we were saying, creditors can seize the corporation assets but have no recourse against the shareholders' personal assets. Say in case of in the business is very risky and you fail, and then the corporation is got to be declared to be a bankrupt or need to be shut down, then all those liabilities will be borne by the organization. So the creditors can only get hold of the assets of the organization, not the person's, the owner's, shareholders' personal assets. Okay, that's the limited liability you have, right? And when it comes to corporation, definitely there is a corporate charter. You have legal documents that basically lay down the rules and regulations, the framework, how organizations should be run when it comes to corporation. Okay, so you have more legal framework here, more policies and regulations being regulated by the country's governing body of businesses. Okay, so if you have sole proprietorship, you are subjected to less legal framework compared to corporations. Even you have in partnership, even subject to the less legal framework in compared to organizations. Okay. Now, the fourth one, as we said, that will be a limited liability company. That's what we call LLC. So you're saying a business organization owned by members with limited liability. That's why we say LLC, limited liability corporation. Okay. So what is the incentives for having LLC rather than opening up a corporation? I say the major incentive is earning can be taxed as personal income tax for the member. As you know, every country, the personal tax amount differs from the corporational tax, right? The corporation tax could be higher, as high as 30% or even 40%, subjected to how much the company earns. A personal tax could be lower if income is low, and even it can go high, but still it is much lower compared to corporations. Okay, and that's why there are many times when you have a business idea and it requires a big establishment. You may not choose to be a corporation, rather you may start with limited liability companies. Okay, so these are the few entities that that we have basically, right? Starting with sole proprietorship, then we have partnership, and then we have corporations, right? And so corporation, even you have few types. You may have limited liability corporation, right? And then you may have few more others form of it, we should be looking at later, right? Now, in comparing these business organization forms, as you look at sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporations, there are certain items there which are comparable. We can compare, in terms of number of owners, in terms of ease of a startup, in terms of the liability, equity capital resources, in terms of firm life and liquidity of ownership, as well as taxation, one of these important elements in any business that you look at. Okay? So these are the 5 areas that help us to compare and then decide actually which one we should go for. Okay, let us look at one by one. In terms of number of owners, as I said earlier, for proprietorship, just one owner, and you have low time and low legal costs. As I said earlier, you are subjected to less legal framework. Okay, when it comes to partnership in general, it's more than two or more than that. It takes a bit more time than the sole proprietorship. Even the cost is a bit more than the sole proprietorship. And when we have limited partnership, and the same year we have one or more general and one or more limited partners. Okay, so you have limited number of partners here, and here also the time takes about moderate time to start and moderate legal costs. Okay, when it comes to ownership of corporation and as well as the ease of the startup, corporation usually no limit of ownership, right? And it requires high time because you are subjected to certain rules, regulation laid down by Security Exchange Commission. You got to be listed, and there are many other legal framework there that you have to go through. Okay, so it takes me a longer time, and the cost also more high. It's a very rigorous process, following the rules and regulation, filling up many forms, required forms, before you are registered at corporation, corporation C. Or you may have corporation A's, subchapter A's corporation, less than 100 owners. For a corporation C, you have unlimited number of owners. But if you have S corporation, here you have less than 100 owners. Still here also it takes quite longer time, and you have a lot of legal issues, thus the cost is higher. And when it comes to limited liability companies, that's what we look at earlier, right? Here also, in terms of ownership, there's no limit. And of course, you are also subjected to more legal costs, as well as the time consuming is there, definitely, okay? It's more detailed we look at, right? In terms of proprietorship is unlimited, right? Partnership also unlimited, but limited partnership, we are limited to their investment, right? In terms of the corporation is limited to shareholders' investment, and then here is also limited to shareholders' investment, right? Basically, depending on which form of organization you go for. In terms of liquidity, the equity or finance requirement, comes to proprietorship, since it is belong to one person, one individual owner who comes out with the idea, who launches the operation of the business, who leads the organization. He takes the profit, and he also takes the responsibility in case of losing or phasing out of the businesses, right? So here the money comes from the owner, from his own pockets, okay? But again, he definitely, if he is established, he establishes the business, he can ask for bank loan, and he can go for leasing, mortgaging, some other options available for financing as you start up and you establish yourself in the business. Even remain as partnership, but still you may have many different sources of finance available for you. When it comes to partnership, basically the finances comes from the partners, understandable, right? Immediate personals, again, those people get involved, finance comes from there. When it comes to corporation, it may come from venture capitalists, or it comes from the shareholders, okay? So that's basically corporation, all three types of corporation, either corporation C, corporation A's, or limited liability, the LLC. This all money basically comes from the investors, so it may come from venture owners or venture investors, okay? Venture investors are the investors who contributed more or contributes more than any other investors, who buys in the form of shares, okay? Now, the farm life and liquidity of an organization. Farm life, how long the company will sustain or survive or be there. If it is a proprietorship, it is dependent on the owner. If the owner finds it difficult to continue, he may just close it down, or he may just transfer the ownership to someone else. Or he may decide to go for partnership, he convert it into partnership, or he may even convert it into a corporation, possible, right? But the life of the project definitely limited, depending on one person who launches the project, okay? When it comes to partnership, definitely is determined by the partners, okay? I think it's okay for me to share with you this. A few years back, I think about 5 years, 6 years back, I started a furniture showroom in Penang, in Julutong. And I ran it for 3 years. After that, I closed it down. When I started, the first one itself, we started making profit. It's a quite beautiful one, 2-story, fully glass furniture showroom was in Glugor. And then there were 3 partners, including me. And after starting, I realized that the other 2 partners are not really contributing to run the organization. They contributed finance, but they are not bothered about running the organization, running the businesses. So it was all on me as an individual. I have to run But then I have a full-time job here at UNIMEF, and as a government university staff, I am not allowed to open up an organization. So that one was under the ownership of my wife. But then I have to give some ideas, being an advisor of the firm. So I realized that I cannot really, contribute much, as I have to concentrate fully at UNIMEF, since this is a full-time job. So I tried, 2 years, and after that I found no, this is my job and I have to concentrate here. I cannot be, sidetracking my career. So I told my wife's partners that I have to close. I want to sell the partnership, the ownership, and they didn't want to continue if my wife leaves the ownership there. So they said then they will close it down, and finally close it down. So it was a good experience for me for teaching purposes even. It was very good experience for me. I had gone through how to start up, how to apply to get license for a showroom, partnership form of business, and then how we start up, buying the assets, guaranteeing building, buying all those assets needed to run the organization, getting the materials, the product, and then it started promoting, selling, getting software to manage the inventory and finance, accounts, all that. And then at the end of the year, facing the taxation that we have to pay, the tax and all that we have, and at that time we have, the business was subjected to many other extra requirements there, okay? So if you are running as a partnership, that's how it is. All partners get along very well and everybody contribute equally, then it runs very well. And when there is misunderstanding and in terms of running and contribution of finance to the organization, in terms of physical involvement, in terms of management involvement and all that, then you will find it difficult to continue and may end up, you may close it down, or you may convert it into, you may transfer the ownership, you may convert it into corporation, and you may continue with that, okay? So there are different options available for you. When it comes to corporation, definitely it is unlimited life, unlimited. All sorts of corporation, unlimited, depending on the board of directors' decisions. So board of directors are basically elected by shareholders, and they represent shareholders' interests in running the organization. So if the board of directors decide that the corporation should be closed down, or they would like to transfer the ownership to someone else, definitely then other shareholders will be accepting the views, as the board of directors are elected by shareholders, okay? So it's unlimited, but again, if you find any difficulty, definitely it can be transferred, okay? Now, when it comes to taxation, of course, when it comes to proprietorship and partnership, it is your personal tax. Proprietorship is your own business, so it is considered the income is your own earning. So definitely you have to pay based on personal tax as determined by the government, right? When it comes to partnership, when you get your portion of profit, of course, this is also your personal income. And it may happen that some partners contributed more finance, so their profits are more. And say, for example, if I contributed lesser amount of finance in the business, then I'll be getting a smaller, lesser portion of profit made by the organization. So I have less tax than others. So it is personal tax, depending on how much we earn from the business, okay? Partnership is personal, as I said, right? But when it comes to corporation, there are two elements that we have to understand. From the corporation earning, the corporation is subjected to the corporation tax, which is usually high, usually high. And then shareholders, if they get dividend return in the form of dividend, then they will be subjected to personal tax. So there are two different tax elements there. One is corporation tax based on the corporation earnings at the end of the year when accounts are finalized. And you as individual, me as individual, if you bought shares from a company, we will be subjected to personal tax for the amount we receive as dividend. Okay, that's personal income. Okay. Now, any question? So far, let me remind you again, summarize it. We look into different form of organizations, sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporations. I look at the life expectancy of the project. We look at the sources of finance available. We look at in terms of tax obligations that we have, right? Any questions so far, anyone? Anyone has a questions? Any queries? Any clarifications? You can hear me, right? Since no one is talking, so I'm curious whether you are with me or not. Can you hear me?
Can, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So I have a question.
Thank you. Yes, please. I would love that.
Yes.
To have a question.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Wong Pu Yun. So my question is, okay, let's say I have two sole proprietorship SSM. So that means I need to apply to both of the business. I have to apply the tax.
Can you come again? What's your question?
Okay, let's say I have SSM two sole proprietorship business.
Okay.
That means I have to pay to both of the tax or for my business.
When you have two businesses, when income comes in, it becomes your own income, right?
Yeah.
So you're just paying once your personal tax.
So,
you don't have to pay twice.
So my mean is, if let's say I just apply one business, is okay for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you get, say for example, you have company A and company B. From company A, your income is 20,000. Say for example, not 20, 10,000 per month, and one of these you take it as dividend.
Okay, let's say my A business is Shopee. Okay, let's say Shopee seller. Okay, the second one is something like selling food on
online.
Selling food online. So that means I have to apply my second business on.
Definitely.
Both of these I have SSM.
Yes, you have to apply for both, two different separate entities. So you have to apply for both.
But both of them is personal tax, right?
Yes. So depending on how much you earn, depending on, say for example, for your online food selling, at the end of the year, your profit was 100,000, and from Shopee account, your profit is 50,000. Say for example. So now you have to total up 150,000 personal income. So your personal tax will be subjected to 150,000.
My question is, if let's say I don't want to apply the first one business, okay or not? If you're okay or not?
Not really, because if you are running a business, then it has to be a legal entity, then you have to apply.
So the HNLD will check me lah.
Yes.
Okay.
because when you have banks will make an inquiry on you. Say for example.
But amount is very small. Amount is very small.
Okay, very small.
It's no more than 1,000. It's almost like 200 a month like that.
For personal tax, you have many different kind of frameworks available. If you have applied e-filing, then you will see the certain amount of income, the tax is very negligible, very small amount.
Yeah, no amount like I got like 300 plus only. No.
Yes.
Before that, I have filled my e-filing. So I have a second question. Okay, my second question is LLE. Is it Sandra Berhad? Have any
LLC.
example?
SLC, Limited Liability Corporations.
So we have any example for us?
Okay, for Malaysia, LLC. I see a lot. LLC, what company? I cannot really remember now. LLC basically limited liability company. So you have limited number of owners, okay, compared to Corporation C and Corporation S. So at this moment, I don't have any company in mind, LLC in Malaysia. Possibly if you search in Google LLC in Malaysia example, definitely will get one or two company name there. Okay, Wong? Or maybe after I give you the short break, I'll come back with a few example of LLCs available in Malaysia. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Welcome. I got little limitations since I'm not a Malaysian, though I'm living quite long. And our focus more on teaching publication research, but even though I had a little bit of experience, exposure and business in Malaysia, let me look at, when I give you a break, I will search for example of LLCs available in Malaysia. All right, but it is very nice to know that you are involved in some kind of businesses and you are doing some business. This is something very good to know. As a finance professional, we definitely encourage all of you to get involved in some kind of business and get the feel of how business world works, since you are business students. And those of you who are with me now, you are doing Bachelor of Engineering Entrepreneurship, and we expect you to be an entrepreneur. So if you start some kind of small business, all that will be very good. You know, last week I was teaching a class and a student asked me, when did I make my first investment? That was the question last week. And I said, when I make the first investment was when I was 24 years old. It's still very late, very late. When I got my first job, then I started in a bank fixed deposit. That's the investment I started. Okay, but later I started investing in the stock market, but also quite late. Stock market investment I started at the age of 40. But fixed deposit in a bank I started at the age of 24. So some kind of investment activity should be there, because you cannot depend on your salary always. There should be some additional income that you should earn. And so I'm very happy that Wong Puyon is doing something which is very encouraging. Okay, I think I told you in the first week I do have a YouTube channel on research methodology. Just on research methodology, the purpose was to help researchers worldwide, especially those students are doing PhD. And within 1 year, I got 7,000 subscribers now, and the most of them are PhD students. And the purpose was launching this YouTube channel was not to earn money. But again, last month before, I got my first payment, 600 ringgit from the YouTube channel, because I monetized it. So I think I have about 200,000 views there. So 600 ringgit was there, and then now I see already 400 ringgit already ready there. So if it continues, the more it grows, you will have more subscriber, more views. I'm a bit too busy now. I don't have time. There are many videos I can prepare and upload there. If I do that, I can easily earn per month about $200 to $300. So that is additional without much effort. Once you upload the videos and it is there forever. So that's how we should be trying in different angles. Little income that helps you to grow. Okay, $1 save is a save. 1 ringgit save is a save. So if you save 1 ringgit per day, per month is 30 ringgit. Per year is 360 ringgit, right? That's how small savings start. I started fixed deposit for my 2 kids, my first 2 kids, a very small amount. I started putting 5,000 my currency into in Islamic bank in Bangladesh. And after 6 years, the term is completed. How much is there is 5,000 per month. That's what I pay for 6 years, and now it is 500,000 my currency is there. So it's about 25 to 30,000 ringgit is there. So I was paying only 200 to 250 ringgit per month, and then after 6 years it becomes 25,000 to 30,000 ringgit. It is there. So that's how it works. You have to start with a small investment. You can buy just 1-2 shares, getting some advice from experienced people, start investing. You can save little money while you live in the hostel, or you get paid from your mom, dad, scholarship money or loans, whatever you have. Little savings that you have, you combine it, and then you start investing. Either fixed deposit is a very safe one, but most important one would be like investing in the stock market or small businesses. And that helps people a lot to grow financially. Okay, so that is expected. And this is one of our objectives of teaching this subject, showing you a different form of entrepreneurial ventures available, different kinds of financing sources available. And of course, at the end, I personally would want you to invest somewhere. Start, getting exposed into investment activities. That's where you should be. Malaysia is an ideal place where you can actually invest safely and you can make money. Okay. All right. Let me proceed to the next areas, which is intellectual property. When you start up a business, you need certain kind of protection. Of course, you need a protection. Okay. So you have certain tangible assets, and you do have also intangible assets, and those got to be protected. That's what you call intellectual property. Ventures, intangible assets and human capital, including inventions, should be protected, can be protected, should be protected. For example, last 2 years, since I have been doing a lot of webinars on research methods, so I came out with few new ideas, like summarizing research paper into 1 page. Then a template to plot your research problem and few things, So I have already applied for intellectual property for protection of my ideas. Those ideas came from me and being appreciated by PhD scholars worldwide. So I've already applied in my IPO. All right, that's what is in Malaysia for intellectual property. I have already applied for copyright. I've already registered. I've got the license, for the 4 of my ideas being patented in Malaysian my IPOs. Okay, so that's how we do. You come out with an idea, and you do not want people to steal your idea and make their own ideas. Okay, so that's what we need. Once you have an idea, then you have to protect it in the form of intellectual property, and it has various formats, various form of intellectual property. Okay, so it could be in terms of patenting, it could be trade secrets, it could be trademarks, it could be copyrights. So you have 4 kinds of different kind of intellectual property that helps you to protect your business ideas and all that. Okay, so the patenting, basically your intellectual property rights granted for invention that are useful, novel, and non-obvious. Okay, so something very novel you came out with, and it's an invention, not innovation. It is invention, new discovery, something new, and of course it's not obvious, so people cannot copy you that first, but yet you got to be patenting it. So if you go online to my IPOs in Malaysia, then you can apply. There are forms available. You can do it online, so you can patent your intellectual property rights. Okay, trade secrets. Okay, this is also another kind of intellectual property rights. Here is basically in the form of invention and information not generally known to others that convey economic advantage to the holders. So we have something very secret and nobody really knows about it, and it helps you to gain competitive advantage and thus the economic advantage for running the business. So you have some secrets and you like to patent it. You'd like to have copyright for it, or you'd like to have intellectual property right for you, so you can apply for trade secrets. For example, like Coca-Cola. It's a very simple soft drinks, but not many of us would actually know what makes it so famous. There is a secret formula for Coca-Cola. When you go to McDonald's or KFC, you may not be finishing your milk without having a soft drink, right? Every meal that you take in the most of the fast food shops, you would love to have soft drinks. And of course, the prime choice would be always Coke and Pepsi. So they have certain secrets, formulas there, which is being intellectual property right is there. Okay, so others cannot really copy it. Okay, and trademarks, you will have your own trademarks that makes you known. Okay, so there is another kind of intellectual property right that allows firms to differentiate their products from others. Like even my small YouTube channel, I put a logo there, PRD. I have a logo. That's my trademark. So when you see PRD, when I see my PRD logo, I know this is my video. So that's a trademark. So that makes you different from others. It is some kind of unique things that make you special, different. So that's the trademarks that you have. Every company will have a logo and trademark that make you different from others. That makes you stand alone, okay, from others. And finally, the fourth kind of one is called copyrights, right? Here, basically, it's an intellectual property rights to write things in printed and electronically stored forms. And that's what is my one. As I said, I came out with 4 new research ideas. And this is basically in terms of printed and electronically stored forms. So I have applied for copyrights. I didn't apply for patenting. Patenting is for invention. So I had to apply for copyrights. That's what I did. And I have got it through Malaysian IPOs. Malaysian Intellectual Organization, right? Intellectual Property Organization. Okay. Okay. Now, this one I have already talked about it, so I don't think I want to talk about. These are the 4 kinds of patenting that you can look at when you have inventions. Okay. It could be in terms of utility patents that cover mechanical or general inventions, chemical inventions, or electronic inventions. You may go for even design patents that cover the appearance of an item, okay, like a sports item, sport uniforms, electronic products, or automatic, automatic products, all that. You may go for even plant patents. Basically, you are patenting or protecting discoveries of, reproduction methods in different plant varieties, okay. And you may have even business method patenting. You have very unique business method that you use. For example, like certain computer codes and certain softwares that are available to run a business and which is totally different and totally new and very efficient, effective, and productive. You may even apply for patenting. Now, as we see online, everything, right, getting online. You have doctors on call now. I'm very sure you're familiar. You can even make appointment with the doctor and doctor attends to you online. And medicine subscribe online and medicine will be sent to your house, right? I bought few medicines from doctors on call, which are cheaper than any pharmacist, the medicines available. Shopee and Lazada, of course, I'm sure every one of you had some kind of experience of buying some products. Since COVID started, my family, my kids, basically, they help buying most of the things now we buy online. Let me share with you one simple example that last week that I was subjected to, the bad experience that I had. Let me share 1 or 2 with you. My daughter, who is 12 years old, she has her own room, and she doesn't feel very comfortable at night to sleep there. She feels a bit scared and all that. So she said, okay, Daddy, you buy me what do you call the dim light table lamp that the light power is low. I said, okay, the bit light, whatever you call it. So I went to electrical shop in Kanga, and I saw the price written 88 ringgit, 88 ringgit. And I bought it. And when I bought it to home, I bought it and brought it to the home. My daughter quickly went to Lazada. You know how much the price in online? You'll be shocked to know. 12 ringgit. Exactly the same. So if I buy online, it's 12 ringgit and delivery possibly another 4 ringgit. So by 16 ringgit, I'm getting that. And I have bought it from a physical location, 88 ringgit. You can imagine. This is one example for you to compare. Of course, not all products is comparable, okay? The other bad experience that we had in online, there was a promotion in Lazada. They show it like, that there are certain sofa bed. The picture showed like sofa bed and the price was quite small. So my daughter ordered. But when the delivery is made, we found the sofa is not there. It's just the other part that you connected with the sofa that makes it sofa bed. That part is there. You can imagine now. You ordered a sofa bed and you got only the second part, not the sofa. So we had that experience also online. Of course, so we have different experiences. Either we buy online or physical locations. So I give you 2 examples of bad experiences, but most of the things that we bought online, I think was so far the experiences are very good. even the dates, my family, we eat dates every morning. Now it's fasting is different. Of course, we break fasting with the dates, the kurma, right? But even when the Ramadan is not there, every night when my wife goes to bed, she will put kurma in the water. We soak it in the water in the morning. We empty stomach, we drink a glass of water. Then the first thing we eat will be the kurma. That one is soaked in the water. It's very healthy. So that kurma, if I buy from Kangra, the shop is in somewhere up there. If I buy kurma from the shop, if I buy from that shop, it costs me about, say, 60 ringgit per kilo. Kurma Mariami, jumbo, that one. 60 ringgit or 80 ringgit per kg. But if I buy online, it's only about 25 to 30. Okay, so that's how it is. That's how it is. So online is cheaper is because they don't need the physical, use inventory. They don't need people to be employed. They don't need to pay the rental for the house, no electricity bill, for all that. So they have connection with different shops and company. They get the order and they send it from there, so it's cheaper. So if you have this kind of business method, those who started at the beginning, they become millionaire, right? The person who came out with the Google idea is a billionaire. The person who came out with Yahoo is a billionaire. The person who came out with the idea of Facebook is a billionaire. So when you have that kind, and special something new that can be also patented and should be patented, right? So a new idea itself cannot be patented. That only you have to remember. The idea must be a part of invention as a physical form. So if you want to patent it, then it has to be something physical. Then only it can be patented. Okay. All right. So this is the normal process that you will go through. You will develop, or conceive an invention. You prepare or register for patent application. You file the application. This Malaysian, my IPO. That's why you file the application, and you'll be given about 20 years of patenting. And my IPO is so efficient. Once you register, within 1 hour or 2 hours, you will see online everything, all information there available. You have already registered, meaning that you are already safe. Your idea being already in the process of patenting. It may take few days time, depending on the idea that you have. There are certain committees there that will go through, analyze, and finally give you the cert. But once you submit online, it's considered you are already safe. Okay, so this process has to go through when it goes to patenting and as well as for intellectual property rights and all that. Okay, so this one I'll leave it for your reading. I don't think I'm going to. This one also I'll leave it for your own reading. Why your patenting could be rejected also, it's there, okay, for you to look at. Okay, what does a patent do for inventors? Okay, so this one basically the government doesn't enforce your rights, so it's your rights. You get into legal framework and you protect your idea. Okay, so the burden of enforcing patent lies with inventors, and enforcement can be costly. Not that costly, they apply for it, depending on the kind of inventions you have. And records indicates over one half of the patent infringement suits taken in court are not upheld on behalf of the inventors. So even when you have somebody comes with a similar idea and he claims that no, that is his idea, all that, it have to go to the court, and that you have your own way of going through the court proceedings and all that. Okay, so trade secrets, as we earlier learned, that is basically intellectual property rights in terms of inventions and information, right? So you have certain formulas, some procedures, and let me. So you have some kind of secrets, and you got to be protected, right? So this is not generally known to others, and but it gives you certain kind of economic advantage. Then only you go for trade secrets. Okay. This one also I will leave it to you for your own reading. Okay, rather than I go through. This is the trademarks, I talked about it. Also, I will leave it for your own reading. how to register and all that is available in my IPOs. You have to just go to Google and write my IPOs. Everything is there for you. Okay, you can quickly go through. Okay, so I'm going to give you today a small assignment. So this assignment got to be submitted in. I will put that in the e-learning one and the WhatsApp group also. I'll put the question as well as I'll tell you what are the requirements and when you have to submit. Okay, so basically you have 4 forms of intellectual property. So you have to go to my IPO where Malaysians can apply for protecting the intellectual properties, right? So there you have to write a small assignment on the processes. You choose either one, either trademarks, copyrights, patenting, you know. So I want you to write processes involved in Malaysia to get your invention patented or trademarked or copyrighted. Okay, so choose either one, and it is going to be individual. Marks will be allocated more for your own creativity of describing the process, you know, the timing, difficulties, challenges, why it would be, what a requirement to get it, and what why it will be rejected, all that. Okay, so that has to be done. That would be your first assignment for this course. I will put that in the online portal, as well as I will also share this with your WhatsApp group. Okay. All right. This one. Okay. With this, I think we have covered most of it. This is let me briefly go through on this. The third one, the fourth one, the copyright one, which I said I have applied for my 4 new ideas and I have copyrighted it. So you're talking about intellectual property rights for writings in written or electronically stored forms. And when I registered my YouTube channel, I had to sign a copyright form, right? I have copyrighted it already. So my one is platform for research and development. So if you want to start another YouTube channel as platform for research and development, you will not be allowed because it's already copyrighted under my name. Okay. I'm also planning to copyright one of my grand show, the PhD journey that I used to do. I ran 4 shows, then I stopped. Now I'm going to continue with that again. The PhD journey, I got a, you know, it's a very good show. I invite University Vice Chancellors to come and share their PhD journey experiences, and I get participants from 50 over countries in those shows. Okay, so that one also I want to apply for copyright. I haven't done that yet. So copywriting is done only when you have some kind of written thing. Not even you're publishing paper in journals, you're publishing books. These are all are copyrighted. Okay, so protects form of expression of an idea and not just word themselves. So you are basically looking at the ideas you have, right? Like my PhD journey, if I put it copyright, if I can copyright it successfully through my IPOs, MY IPOs, then no one can run another show in the name of my, and in the PhD journey. The PhD journey is going to be copyrighted under my name. It's going to be there. I'm going to be the ownership, you know, have the ownership of the PhD journey. Any show, my PhD journey would be copyrighted under me. So no one can do that. So that kind of thing can be copyrighted. Okay. So traditional way to establish a publishing book and all that, it comes with you can see the C in circle, right? So when you see that, meaning it is already copyrighted. Okay. So what we look at so far today, we look at forms and organizations, the ownership structure, the life expectancy, the liabilities, you know, and then after that we look at how can you protect your business ideas, your trademarks, intellectual, you know, tangible or intangible properties that we have. And also we look at financing sources available for different form of organization. And then also you can also have some other method of protecting your IPs and intellectual properties, like confidential disclosure agreement and employee contracts, right? When you apply for a job in an organization, there are certain secrets are there in almost every organization. Then you have to also sign certain confidential documents that you will not be disclosing certain information that is considered confidential in an organization. Also, that is also a form of intellectual property, right? When I join in IMAP, I have to sign a contract, and thereby I have to read through all those terms and conditions given to me. And when I agree and I sign, and I have to abide by the rules and regulations. If I violate any rules or regulations of the university, the one I agreed and signed, then I can be subjected to a termination from jobs. Okay, so that is also form of intellectual property by organizations. Okay, and the seed money that we need, or startup seed money that is needed, startup financing needed, I have discussed quite a lot in detail in the first session, so I'm not going to talk about that. But we look at here the two important elements. The first one I did not talk about in the first session. We call it financial bootstrapping. Okay, this is a strategy which what we do is we minimize financial involvement and finding unique ways of financing a new venture. Okay, so when you have a very good business idea, you don't have enough money to start up sole proprietorship, and you do not want to go through a partnership, and are looking for, you don't have enough capital, looking for capital. So that would be a good idea, looking for a business angel, right? As I said, wealthy individuals, so filthy rich individuals, a lot of money, but doesn't have the idea and doesn't have time to involve in the business. If you present your good ideas in the form of business plan to those people, they could be interested to finance in your projects. So they join in by contributing finance, and you can start up a new venture as venture, as an entrepreneurial activities as we intend to, right? Once you have an idea. So business start with ideas. That's what we agreed, right? We discussed, agreed. And then once idea is there, then we have to make it a commercial one in the form of business plan, showing people that it is something visible, something going to be profitable, right? Something feasible, all sort of things that you have to prove. Then financing is not an issue. If you don't have financing, you can go for partnership. Even if you don't go for partnership, you want to keep it sole proprietorship, you can still look for business angels. Even you can go for crowdfunding. The ideas are there. Since you are adult, even some Malaysian politicians, they use crowdfunding. They use crowdfunding as source of finance to finance their activities in Malaysia. I have seen that. Okay. All right. So crowdfunding, another idea. If you have very good business idea and you would like to make it commercial, and you are short of funds, then you may go for crowdfunding. Even your class, you are 250 students in this class. If one of you join by 1,000 each, then it's going to be 250,000. Enough capital to start up a very good business in Malaysia. As I said, if you want to start up a very good furniture showroom in the town of like Penang, 100,000 is enough. So with 250,000, you can start even a bigger venture. Each and every one of your friends contributing 1,000. And if each and every one of your friends contribute 500 each, 250 is going to be 125,000. And that money is enough for you to start up a business. Okay, so that can be done. Okay, so that form of business can be easily started. So it is always a question of whether you have a commercial idea, an idea that can be screened through and make it commercial, feasible, something viable, something would be profitable, seem to be profitable. Then finance is not an issue anymore now. Finance available. Even crowdfunding platforms, those are in Malaysia, and the many platforms available in UK, USA even can be used to raise funds to run a business. Okay. So with all with that, I would like to conclude today's my presentation session. I will now open up for question and answer sessions. Okay. If you have any questions, any queries, anything you'd like to add on, you are most welcome. So far, I am not that happy with the class yet, since I'm getting less questions or queries or feedback. I appreciate more feedbacks and more questions and queries. Okay. So now it's time for you to share your ideas, feedbacks, now. Okay, the session is yours now.
Sir,
Afifa, very good. Yes.
may I ask, before that you asked to do a an assignment about the trademark, copyright and patent. I kind of lost. You asked for the process, how to do that kind of
Yeah, there are
process.
4 kind of intellectual property rights, right?
Uh-huh.
You look at,
And
so
can-
if you choose just one, you just choose one. Say, for example, patenting. So what I want you to do in the assignment is define what is patenting. What are the requirements to apply for patenting? Look at go to my IPO website, all are described there. So basically there the requirements all are described. Processes, how the process go through, it is there. How much money you have to pay, it is there. How long will it take to get it patented, is there. All that you have to document it. You have to document it, okay? Present it in a very good flow and logical sequence. If somebody wants to patent an invention, how the process will be, look like following my IPOs. That's what I wanted to do.